Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So it's so happy to see all of you again. I think the last time we met was about 2 weeks ago. So last week we wrote on a really exciting topic, right? We were talking about biohacking, and I think that was a really fresh perspective and really feel great and additional edge that makes us even more competitive in this saturated market of weight management. All right, but of course, weight management is just a part of it. So today we're going to go into how to maximize your fasting capacity. All right. Of course, this applies to everyone. Okay. If you're already on intermittent fasting, of course, this applies to you, but more specifically for those who are on Ramadan. All right. Because we have quite a big population of those who are practicing this, and it's actually more challenging for them compared to us, right? Because we do most of our fasting at night. So for them, they do majority of their fasting during waking hours. So it's really like there's a bit of duality here. Like it could either be really good, okay, either you Ramadan can give you really good results, or you can have really bad results. So I would say Ramadan is a very tricky time. Okay, and you may think, why? Okay, because most people say that during Ramadan they will lose weight, but actually it's not. Okay, and there are a lot of metabolic challenges that happens when a person is fasting during the Ramadan as well. Okay, so we're going to go into all of these things, compare Ramadan with our current period practice, and most importantly, how can we maximize our fasting effort? Okay, and especially GLP-1, right? It really gives us that blueprint so that we will know how to get started into our wellness journey. Okay, so heads up, wow, great to see all of you today. So happy to see a lot of you who attended the first round. Okay, that you are still attended today, and especially for those who are visiting us from Thailand. So good evening to all of you. All right, so without further ado, let's go right into today's topic. Okay, so now as we said, it's the holy month of Ramadan. So many people are on a fasting regime. Okay, as we can all indulge in food during tea time and things like that. Okay, there's a group of people who are observing a very important practice, okay, spiritual practice. So now, let's go through and compare 16-8 fasting and Ramadan fast, okay? So this is our typical feel great fasting. We practice 16 8-hour fast. So for us, our last meal typically is 7, you just add another 4 hours in. So then you'll be 16 hours, okay, as long as it's 16 hours, and our eating window is 8 hours. So here you can actually eat whatever that you want. Okay, but if you want to get really good results, we don't encourage you to snack so much. Okay, so if you can just take 2 big meals, I think you will be far off, a lot more better off in your metabolic journey. Okay, so this is Ramadan fasting. Okay, so this is where it gets a bit tricky. All right, so they have to wake up really early. All right, for those who are on Ramadan, you have to wake up at 3. All right, and of course, they have to say their prayers, and they have a very short window of eating in the morning. Okay, so they have only 2 hours to eat whatever and to drink whatever to make them really prepared for a long day of fasting. Okay, so for those on Ramadan fasting, after 5 a.m. is no food, no water, no drink. So if you talk a lot, okay, it's going to be kind of hard for you. But then sometimes you cannot really control this kind of thing. Yeah. So I really admire those who go through the Ramadan fasting. Okay, and their last meal is at 7. All right. And it's basically just 2 meals. And of course, sometimes the timing may change and maybe 7:30, okay, depending on uh their their schedule. All right. So total fasting hours is 14 hours. Okay. So from here we can see quite a big difference in the sense, first is the timing. Okay. 68 has 2 hours more in terms of their fasting duration. But for those who are Ramadan, they have 2 hours less. All right. So you can, there's a bit of differences here. Okay. Fasting is done more mostly during sleep. And for those on Ramadan, fasting is done during waking hours. All right. So when you do it during waking hours, there's pros and cons to it. All right. But if you look everything in a very idealistic environment in which where there's very minimal food related temptation or distraction, by right, okay, despite shorter fasting hours, fasting during waking hours you can actually burn more calories. All right, because during Ramadan you walk a lot more. Okay, you have to have a bit more activity. So during that long hour fast, you're actually burning a lot more compared to if you are sleeping overnight. Okay, so because of this, it's true that Ramadan can have a lot of potential in weight loss. All right, in fact, this practice is actually good for health. So despite of these great benefits, but I think as a society, we are not observing it. Okay, I'm pretty sure you all know that Ramadan is good, fasting is great, but we are not going very far as a society. All right. In fact, I think overweight is and obesity is still a very big problem. Okay, and I think the trend has not decreased. In fact, it has gotten worse in the past decade. So we have increased 10%. Okay, we're talking about like your BMI and your overweight index. We have increased 10%. That's a lot. Okay, and 2011 to 2023. Right, and as a population, this is still a very real problem. And I got this really interesting data, okay, that shows overweight population in Southeast Asia. So the number one here, strangely, is Brunei. Okay, but I don't know why. Okay, a lot of bigger organizations like the WHO and things like that, they don't really quote Brunei in their stats. All right, I'm not too sure if it's data collection problem or not, but wow, I think this is actually quite. This is also from another organization, the World Factbook. All right, that shows a very different picture. Okay, so actually Brunei is really on the high side when it comes to overweight. Okay, they do have a very large population of Muslims. Okay, followed by Malaysia. All right, then Singapore, Thailand, Philippines. So I think from wherever you are, you can see your population on the chart. Okay, and I think that it is a very common problem. And if you were to look at it in detail, the highest percentage are those who are practicing Ramadan, right? Brunei, okay, Malaysia, we have a big population of people who are practicing Ramadan. Okay, and we should be fitter actually. Okay, because you have that 1 month kind of fasting and do every year. So by right, we should be improving in terms of our obesity and overweight rate. Okay, but looks like our obesity and overweight rates are getting even higher, okay, as years pass. So what is the challenge? Okay, what went wrong that could make a potentially great practice into something that backfires, okay, that sabotages their health. Okay, so interestingly, Ramadan can also be a time that people gain weight. Okay, so why? Aren't you like not eating most of your eating hour? You're not munching, you're not taking, not even drinking water, right? So how can you be gaining weight? So certain studies have reported significant weight gain during Ramadan. Okay, individuals tend to eat poorly, especially during breaking fast in the evening. All right, I think this is not just evening. I think it is also in the morning. All right, but of course, the tendency to overeat, is not as great as the morning time. So this is actually a pretty good and a pretty startling reason. And also they say high intake of sugar, carbohydrate, and fat food. Okay, and because of sugar, it attracts a lot of water. And generally, if you take a lot of high sugar caffeinated beverage, you also tend to go to the toilet more often. So it will make you more dehydrated. And it's a vicious cycle. So by the end of the day, you overcompensate and you take even more sugary drinks. And late night snacking, okay, because you already have such a short hour of eating window, okay, from 7 to all the way. So some people even before bed, they'll eat something, they'll drink something, and they feel very insecure, because they only have a very short amount of time to eat, so they will eat as much and as often as they can. All right, and this is also a very big factor that short sleeping hours and eat early in the morning next day, your insulin has no opportunity to come down. Right, so you just imagine you eat at 7 and your next hour is 3. And 3 o'clock, our body clock is supposed to be sleeping. Okay, but you are activating it and our insulin levels are actually higher in the wee morning of the day. So this actually kind of shock our body in a sense. And our body is a lot more sensitive to sugar spike as well. Right? So because of this, it really does kind of mess up our metabolic system. And this is also the reason why, even though you're eating lesser in your waking hour, but because of this eating window, it kind of sabotages your Ramadan efforts. Okay? Okay, and of course, I need to evaluate the type of food that we eat now. Right, so there is some truth to that, where the kind of diet that most of us eat when you are on a Ramadan fast, okay, which is understandable. So the first meal before 5 a.m. Okay, so in 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. You're already taking all these kind of food, right? Like nasi lemak or this kind of thing. You want to feel satiated, okay? And you're also afraid that if you undereat, you may not have the energy to last through the whole day, correct? Because it's a very long hour, which is understandable. But unfortunately, all these rack up a lot of calories, okay? So even before dinner, you're already taking 1,000 calories. All right, so this is half of the energy expenditure that you're already taking in the day before 5 a.m. So early in the morning. Okay? And not to mistaken the second meal. All right. I don't know if you have Bazaar Ramadan, but it's a really big thing here in Malaysia. So every time when it's nearing dinner time, everybody just wanna like grab something because they're feeling so hungry, right? So when you're on the fast, usually people want to take high fat food. Okay, you want to take something like fried chicken, you want to get something like greasy and that can really make you full. So this is the kind of food that you reach for, right? 7:30. And when I look at this picture, I'm like, what is this, man? Now, okay, I haven't been to a Bazaar Ramadan for a while, but this is actually quite wow, quite shocking that they actually package this kind of drink in such a huge uh plastic container. I think this is to fit because we have very big families here, right? Those who are observing, they have big families, so understanding why they do this, but it's a bit scary, frankly. Okay, and you imagine you take this for 30 days, every day you're taking like that. So I think this is not so much about losing weight, but how to be diabetic in 30 days. Okay, I think it's what it is. So by the end of the day, you're already taking 3,000 to 4,000 calories in a day. And not to mention, a lot of all these foods are really high in GI. They are, you know, um, high in sugar, and all these things will make us gain weight even more. All right. So Ramadan is a real challenge for most people. Okay, but of course, there are a group of people that can lose weight. Okay, I'm not trying to say that everybody that on Ramadan will gain weight. No. Okay, of course, there are those who are able to observe it. But those who lose the weight, it's common to regain it back in a month. Okay, it's very common. For those who, during Raya time, they just lose control and they just gain back. It's not even more than what they lost during the 1 month of Ramadan. Okay, and rapid weight loss often involve losing muscle mass and not just fat. And why is this dangerous is because muscle burns more calories at rest. So once you lose muscle mass, your metabolic rate sure will decrease. Okay, that's for sure. And because of that, losing muscle can slow down your metabolism, contributing to long-term weight gain. So your fat becomes bigger and bigger, and your muscles get smaller and smaller. So when the body goes through this fluctuation, it can lead to greater fat storage, especially visceral fat. And it's interesting that the fat they know where to go. Okay, and they tend to accumulate near, and these are near our organ. All right, so this is something to take note of. And over time, this fluctuation in weight may be concerning since body weight fluctuations have been shown to increase the risk of type 2 diabetes. So despite of this practice that we're doing every single year, and because of this yo-yo dieting, these weight changes that happens every year, in fact, it brings a lot more damage to our body compared to you not doing anything. All right? Even though you may not be fasting, but if your weight is stable, it makes your sugar levels and other components of your metabolic health a lot more steady. So this kind of weight loss, weight gain is actually a lot more dangerous in the long run. Okay, so can you survive Ramadan? You can, but actually there are a lot of rules to it. Okay, if you look at the nutritional point of view, right, they have a lot of guidelines. Okay, how to remain healthy, how to have your blood levels, everything in good order. There are a lot of rules, okay, a lot. Number one, never overeat. This one we already fail already. The first one we fail. Okay, don't eat continuously. Also fail. Okay, third one, eat more soup. You don't drink soup, all right? Chew your food. Don't drink all the sweet things. Make sure the meals you consume are low fat, low blah blah. Okay, when you cook at home, choose to bake, roast steam, avoid sweet treats. There is actually a lot of rules, if you want to stay nutritionally healthy, talking about like you don't rebound your weight, and if you want to keep on a very good nutritional state, there's actually a lot of things that you have to put into consideration. Okay, and sometimes because of this, it really puts people off. Okay, it makes people want to give up on screw it. Okay, don't care, right? Just do it because it's a spiritual practice. And because of this, we neglect the nutritional principles when it comes to proper fasting. All right, and I think because of all these restrictions, it makes things a lot more difficult to execute, even though it is good for us. Okay, so is fasting alone enough to get you in shape during Ramadan? All right, I think based on what I've spoken just now, I think you kind of have an idea that it's quite difficult. But of course, it's not impossible if you eat this during Ramadan. Okay, I'm very curious to know though, does anyone actually eat like this during Ramadan? Okay, don't talk about Ramadan season. Just talk about normal season, normal days. If you can eat like this, confirm you lose weight. Okay, and then they say you have to eat very clean and drink soup. Just now that one of the principles is to drink soup, right? So you drink soup, you eat really healthy during Ramadan, then definitely you are okay. But I'm pretty sure 99% we are not okay with it. Okay, because it's not in our culture. We don't eat food like this every day. Okay, we cannot sustain this kind of diet. This is what we eat. All right, look at the picture, so you're hungry already. Okay, I hope for those who are observing Ramadan, you've already had your dinner. But these are the things that you crave. You want to eat something like oily, you want something like, just looks good. And this, all right, looking at the picture, you really feel like hungry. You like, want to eat second round already. So this is the challenge. Not just only that fasting itself influences how our body reacts. It is also not fitting in our culture to eat like that, like what I said just now. So because of this, it is a challenge, and obesity is still a problem until today. So the key is what we're going to overcome today is to maximize your fasting. Okay, because you're already doing Ramadan. Let's not waste this opportunity to get in shape. Right? Even though with all the struggles and with all the things we talked about just now, it's not a dead end. You can overcome it. You just need some tools only. Okay, and it really bring you a long way through your fasting period. And of course, survive the Ramadan feasting because especially during night time, that we are tempted with a lot more savory food and to keep the weight off after Ramadan. All right, so we are landing from the um, previous session. We're going to touch a bit on biohacking. So of course, biohacking is just a term to talk about how it can influence our body to work for us better. So we are talking about this dietary nutrition and fasting as well. Okay, how can we incorporate all these to give us even better results? Right? So this is where I think field rate is very important. In fact, for those who are on Ramadan, I think you need this even more, to be frank. Okay? So we'll be touching into insulin resistance. Is especially during this time, those who are observing Ramadan, you have all these, you will experience all these things. Okay, you have lack of sleep energy, you poor food choices, low protein, excessive eating. So all this will not make you feel very good. And you will continuously be in a cycle of high insulin that that perpetuates the entire day. So how can you overcome this problem? So you will need GLP-1. Okay, this is going to be your most important friend or your secret weapon, you want to put it that way, to help you to manage all the cravings, help you to put down your sugar and insulin levels. You need this to pull you through the Ramadan. Okay, so for those who are new with us, what is GLP-1? Okay, what is this thing? So how it works is actually very simple. All right, if you don't have GLP-1 in the body, everything will work a lot slower. Okay, so if you look at this picture, you can see like, wow, it's like so difficult to roll a boat, right? It's exactly like our body. It's so difficult to clear off the sugar, to bring down the insulin levels and everything. Okay, because it's a lot of work for your body. So as long as you have GLP-1, it speeds up the entire process a lot faster. So you can imagine yourself, right? If you have a speedboat in your body, okay, if you have a turbo engine in your body, everything will metabolize so much faster, okay, that you don't have to worry so much, even if you eat a little bit more, okay, and your body is able to regulate itself compared to this one that rarely has any energy going on at all, right? So this is a more clearer example. So this is what happens for most of us when we have high post-meal 2 hours, we still will have a bit of sugar and insulin in our bloodstream. But if you have GLP-1, it clears it a lot faster. Okay, 2 hours later, you will see your blood sugar will be a lot more stabilized and your insulin levels as well. So the more GLP-1, the better it is for your body. Okay, now, I want to do a bit of a comparison between having GLP-1 and no GLP-1. Okay, so if you have GLP-1, study shows that it gives you weight loss 5 to 15% of body weight, which is more achievable. Okay, don't look at these figures like very small. If a person is 60 kg, okay, 15% is close to, of his weight, is close to 10 kg already. 10 to 11 kg, which is a lot weight. If you're talking about 15%. Okay? So if a person can achieve 50%, is fantastic. Okay, it's a lot. Okay, and of course, for most people to achieve 15%, it take about a year. Okay, a year is considered very good consistently, about 1 to 2 years. Okay, but for GLP-1, they say they can achieve this sooner. So it depends on the individual. Some people can achieve this 6 months or 8 months, okay, depending on how consistent they are on GLP-1, right? And one of the major areas it targets is your appetite control. And we know that with Ramadan, it's very difficult to control it, especially during your break fast. Okay, when you want to break fast, you just want to eat the most unhealthy food, okay, because you have starved yourself for the whole waking hour. You have already done your prayers and everything. So you just want to gas up, okay? That's what you want to do. So GLP-1 really helps to give you a bit more self-control. So as you're going to break your fast, you are able to like pull back. You're able to like take a bit of dates and slow down, that you don't feel that you're consumed by the hunger to eat everything. Okay, so this is a really good cue to give you a break when you're eating. Okay, and of course, most importantly, with GLP-1, your body cells are better able to respond to insulin. It's more sensitive. It's able to maintain a more balanced sugar level the whole day. So because of this, you already win 50% of your battle already. Okay, with GLP-1, you don't feel like you're doing anything, but your body is helping you to suppress all these urges that you feel during breaking fast. Okay, so what happens if you don't have GLP-1? Okay, of course, you can still achieve something, but it's slower. And you may not be able to achieve the kind of result that you want to for a long time. All right, so weight loss tends to be more modest, typically 5 to 10%, and requires ongoing lifestyle change. So if you have no GLP-1, this may take about 1 year now. Okay, for those who are really consistent, about a year. Okay, and it's also harder and results are less predictable. This is true. So you find yourself, you cannot control your weight loss. Sometimes even you do whatever already, but your weight will still stay stagnant. You can be exercising, you can be eating healthy, but your weight still cannot go down. And you will face a lot of roadblocks that without GLP-1. So results are less predictable and harder to maintain. You are more prone to, fluctuation in your weight as well. So while many can achieve weight loss through this method, these results tend to be more modest and can be difficult to sustain long term. Maintaining it is often challenging without additional support. So this is the reason why many people, they give up halfway, even though they've tried so hard for 6 months or 7 months that they can't see much result. It's not that they're not doing anything, okay, they're doing their best, but their body has achieved a limit already. So with GLP-1, we can break through a bit of that resistance and give you more capacity to burn more on the longer run. Okay, so the whole objective here is you want to have as much GLP-1 as possible. Okay, so the more GLP-1 you have in your body, the more advantages it will serve you. Okay, so we have this amazing study that our head of scientist, Dr. Benjamin Newman, has done. Okay, that in this whole supplement industry, Gabriel Mate has a really strong result into showing an increased GLP-1 levels, okay, compared to just drinking water. So this is like, if you're drinking water, you also have GLP-1. Okay, everybody also has GLP-1, right? But by taking into yerba mate, it can increase up to 75%. It's close to double. All right, so you have a lot more circulating GLP-1 in your body if you take this. So the more yerba mate you have, definitely you ramp up your GLP-1 levels a lot more. So to go beyond this, we also have done further studies to prove if we take this, how it will influence our genes. Uh, okay, so they actually took a step further to examine if this can influence our genetic expression. Mm. So good news, with this new study that they just published in February, okay, they actually found some really exciting results. So this is for, okay, yeah. So they found that those who take yerba mate significantly increases the genetic expression of GLP-1 in their body. Okay, so this is really a big deal. And I think we are one of the first, okay, that can prove this. Because to say that, okay, you take this can increase GLP-1, this is very easy to study one. Not very easy, but it's easier. But to measure the genetic expression of your body that increases GLP-1, I would say that this is a lot more difficult to test. All right, and it's not easy, frankly, to garner significant amount of genetic changes for them to detect. So in fact, that we can prove it, that it is quite significant in that sense, has shown how yerba mate can strongly influence our own natural GLP-1 level. Okay, so I think this is actually a pretty breakthrough result. And next, of course, because of that, it also showed to increase our circulating GLP-1 hormone, right? So this further reinforces with our first study that taking yerba mate will increase your own GLP-1 level, okay? Your own natural GLP-1, not injection, no, but your own circulating. So your body becomes more efficient, it becomes smarter, and it's able to produce more GLP-1 for you, right? So I think this is really cool and great, right? So of course, we have more GLP-1. That's great. Help us to manage our appetite. Help us to manage weight loss. But for Ramadan, we have another big problem that we have to solve, which is the food. Okay, unfortunately, okay, Malay food also tastes pretty good. So everything is high carb, everything is high fat. So I cannot be taking my salad, right? Okay, I can't be depriving myself. So how can I enjoy this food? So because of this, it's very important that we have something that can help us to absorb the carbs. So of course, when it comes to fiber, when you look at BLS, okay, some people may think that, oh, why do I need to take this BioSlife F? Okay, isn't BioSlife F just fiber? So I can just take any fiber, right? I can go to the pharmacy or I can just take some generic fiber. So it also costs a lot cheaper. So why I should spend my money to buy this few grade? Okay, so by the way, not every fiber is the same. All right, generic fiber that we find in the supermarket are more crude fibers. Okay, these are fibers that act more towards your intestine. Okay, talking about like constipation, this kind of effect. Okay, but when it comes to sugar levels, you cannot use those kind of fiber. You need a very specific kind of fiber, which is soluble fiber, that when you add water, it will expand. Right? It's very important because once it expands, okay, it allows your body to effectively cushion and to absorb excess sugar and carbohydrate in your body. So only soluble fiber that can give us a kind of effect. If we're talking about food one, all right, there has 7 different types of fiber that we have studied and we have formulated it to put into this sachet for you. Okay, and these are the 7 fiber types that is effective towards lowering your sugar levels. Right, so very quickly, we go through the function of this. Okay, so this is what happens if you don't take any BioSlife test. Okay, some people they say, okay, I don't need it, just take the Unimate enough to eat. Okay, but you can't. Why? Because after eating, foods become sugar. Whatever we eat will become sugar, right? So once it get into our body will absorb the sugar immediately. Okay, almost immediately, it will get absorbed. But Okay, this is where insulin spike happens. But if you have a fiber in your body, it helps to trap it, it absorbs it. So once it's trapped, okay, you are able to absorb a lot lesser. This reduces total blood sugar by 28%. And because of this, it can reduce your total insulin spike up to 27%. Okay, so you can see it on why is this Bioslide S so important? Okay, I want to re-emphasize this. And to, of course, answer those people who think that BRS may be less important than Uni Mate. Okay, it has its role, and especially when you're in uh, this space where we're tempted with a lot of high fat, high carbohydrate food. Okay, so Bioslide S does play a very important role to manage. Okay, it's almost half of the sugar that's in your body. All right. So this is without Bioslide S, okay, high carbs, elevated insulin. But with Bioslide S, okay, we can already see a big difference. How it lowers everything, you stay fuller longer, you burn more fat. Okay, so it actually ties in together with GLP-1. Okay, and apart from that, okay, this Bioslide S, once it goes into our gut, it will be fermented. All right. So these fibers will produce this thing called SPFA. So this is very important byproduct for our body to produce GLP-1. Okay, so you see, Unimate and Basaf S, both of them also have a role in increasing our GLP-1. So of course, Unimate is more of a uh, direct source, but this actually helps to stimulate our gut to produce GLP-1 as well. Okay, so after 1 or 2 hours, if you don't take soluble fiber, our GLP-1 levels will drop very drastically. Okay, so we have Unimate that help to increase the GLP-1, and we have this Bioslide S that also helps to do that, and most importantly, to make our GLP-1 last long. Okay, we want our GLP-1 to circulate as long as possible in our bodies. Okay, so this is where it fits into this whole equation about feel great. Right? So in conclusion, of course, this also helps to, stimulate our L cells to produce more GLP-1. Okay, so with both of these, it is great. Both of them, they work on each other. They build up on one another. Okay, we cannot just have one without the other. Okay, because both of these products have very distinctive roles and they are both very important. Okay, you need Unimate to increase, to kickstart your fasting routine. And especially during meals, you need Bioslide S to curb that sugar spike, your carbohydrate food, and also help to maintain your GLP-1 levels for as long as possible. Okay, so with this, comparing to what we have in the market, really, you have the ultimate biohack in your hand. Okay, that you don't have to go through all these really expensive procedure, injection, and low quality fiber that does not really produce any result. But with both of these, if you look into conventional means, actually it's affordable. All right, and natural, you don't have to worry about harmful side effects. So this is really a great tool that you have in your hand. All right, so with Feel Great, it can help you to mitigate all these problems, right? Everything that we talk about, low energy, high insulin levels, we don't have to go through Ramadan with this problem. In fact, it will change everything. With GLP-1, okay, it gives you, especially with eating mate, right? It gives you energy, a clean source of energy. You don't feel dehydrated. And okay, there's a reason why I put this picture. I didn't change it, It's because you can eat what you want. All right. You don't have to worry about needing to eat salad, okay, during your Ramadan, okay, to see. Okay, you can still eat whatever food as long as you take your pasta, okay? Well balanced, and you may even, okay, experience even better results during Ramadan period. It could be your golden opportunity to fit into this nice Raya shirt that you have. Okay, like this picture, right? Before and after. Okay, this 1 month, it could be your moment, your transformation before you see all your relatives during the Raya. You'll be like, wow, what happened to you? That's the best. And you see the expression, everything is worth it. All right. All right. So with this, it's going to give you the blueprint that you need to be able to enjoy this season and to, you know, feel your best during the fasting month. Okay, so I'm able to wrap it up on time. So before I end today's session, I actually have one or two announcements to share with you. Okay, next Thursday, yeah, in Malaysia, we're going to have this health one-on-one talk. So if you have anyone who is in Malaysia physically, okay, yep, you can invite them and we're going to have uh, a great conversation about the future of health. Right. I have a even more exciting announcement to share with you, which is about Dr. Benjamin Whitman. So we have received news that he will be coming to Singapore, you know. So yay! Okay, so for everyone who is there, okay, I'm telling you, this Dr. Benjamin Whitman is the Sifu. Okay, it's the Sifu of metabolic health. He's my Sifu also lah. Okay, so I'm really bummed honestly that he's coming on the date that I'm not around. Okay, because the last time when he's here, I'm not even in university. You know. So there's been like I don't know more than 6 years ago. So 6 years later, when I'm in university, I can't meet him. So I'm feeling very sad. Okay, and not just that, he's a key person. Okay, you talk to anybody, any professional that is in nutrition line, you definitely know who he is. Okay, and not just only his credential and he's a professor, he's also the person who is the first person actually who is involved in producing your Unimate and the Bioslife S that we have. Okay, when it comes to any formulation changes, any formulation upgrade, it goes through this person first, right? So he is it's so rare, okay, that he even visit any country for that matter. Most of the time you only get to see him during convention, and that is he's so far away. All right, there's no way that you can hear from him, that you can even have like a Q&A or whatever. But he may be coming. Okay, so we are trying very hard to arrange a time with him. So this is a tentative date. Okay, we are waiting for final confirmation. Okay, because it's not easy to get him at his schedule. All right, so we are not 100% firm up yet, but we are really crossing our fingers to hope that it will be. All right, so for those who are in Singapore, you just mark the dates first. Okay, and this is the tentative date. All right, and once everything is firmed up and we have the 100% confirmation, then we will release a poster. Okay, but for now, we're really hoping that things will firm up by then. Okay, we're really hoping that we can get him to be here. Right, so it's very exciting. I wish I'll be around, but not. Okay, looks like fate has other plans now. It's just not meant to be. Okay, fortunately. All right. Okay. So that's the end of the exciting announcement that we're having. So now is the time of Q&A. Right. So please feel free to ask anything if you have about formulation or how to eat and things like that. Go through. Okay. Oh, okay, great. We already have two questions. Okay, I'll start with one. How to incorporate two unit mate in Ramadan meeting, okay? Because on normal day, we have one unit mate in the morning and another unit mate for lunch together with our last. Okay, I think for this, you will have to take two unit mate in the morning already, right? Because you can't drink anything in between. And if you were to take a unit mate at night, uh, I'm not sure if that's a good idea because you may be really awake and you have to sleep at night, right? I think you can take two unit mate straight in the morning, okay? Because I think you need that, right? You're waking up at 3 a.m., 3 a.m. Wow. So I think you can just take two one shot, and I think you can even take one at 3, one at 4, but I think you can just take two double dose. I think that's really going to help you a lot. So you can actually try that definitely. I think that's going to help you a lot to stay really stable during the Ramadan season. Okay, then yeah, so your BLS you can take is the BLS is really up to you. If the breakfast you think you're not gonna take a lot of high carb or high fat food, then it's all right if you take just two bars as straight at night. It depends on how heavy is your breakfast meal gonna be. Because I know some people doing breaking fast, they tend to take a lot of curries and so you can just take two bars as at night when you break your fast also, because I'm not too sure what you're going to eat in the morning. So of course, ideally you can take one in the morning, one at night. But if you think that at night time you need more, then you can just take two bars of fast at night. Okay, depending on how much you're going to eat when you break your fast. Okay, so any food drinks to avoid that may reduce Dini Mate is efficacy. Um, of course, if you take Dini Mate, then try not to take anything that is sweet now, right? Because it kind of like will take away the benefits of the GLP-1 during fasting. But I don't really think there'll be anything that interfere with it now. Because GLP-1 and Dini Mate, don't think so at the moment. Can't really think of anything that may interfere. But you can just take that, and then after taking that, you can just have your meal. So I don't think there will be any food drink. Of course, avoid the 3-in-1 coffee and all those one. Because if you take all those 3-in-1 coffee, it's gonna dehydrate you. And if you drink the 3-in-1 coffee, you test direct all together with really mate, I don't think that will be a good idea. Okay, because it make you crash. Okay, so does drinking uni mate hot or cold affect its effectiveness? I wouldn't think so though, but then you may feel the effect of uni mate even stronger if it's hot. Yeah, because it's heat. If when there's heat, the biochemicals gets absorbed even faster. All right, the rate of which the active component will be absorbed will be a lot faster under heat. So I guess hot you will, mm, you will experience. It may act faster compared to cold. So no money, no enough can just really mate lemon only. I'm not saying that one. You don't need to eat meh. I mean, you still have to eat lunch, right? You still have to eat, sorry, you still have to eat dinner. You still have to eat meals. I'm not saying that in the morning you don't take. Okay, I'm just giving people the choice and the freedom to rotate. You can take either morning one, night one, or night two. Okay, depending on how heavy is your meal. So you cannot not take one unless you're or unless on your water diet. Okay, unless you're on a 24 hours water diet, then you can don't take pasta as well. But as much as you are taking some carbohydrate food, and especially high carbs and high fat, then you will need to take pasta as for sure. Okay. Just to clarify, the 27, 28 reduction in glucose insulin, yeah, it's two sachet of pasta. Hmm. Kelly, right? So I'm a little confused. Do we need to wait 10 minutes after taking Basaf? Because some people are saying that we don't need to wait and we can eat right after we take our Basaf. But I saw a video from one of the City Crown Diamond Club member, and he said we need to wait for 10 minutes because we need to let the Basaf coat our stomach as it forms a thick viscous gel so that when we eat it, the food gets coated and this will prevent the insulin spike. Actually, your City Crown Diamond Member Club, he's not wrong. But then because our scientist, Dr. Benjamin Lipman, did another study on this, and he actually found out that if you take during your mealtime, the effect to curb the sugar is actually more. So we have updated our science in this. It's not wrong, it's just that we have updated the science when it comes to Barsa S. So yeah, actually you don't have to wait. Okay, this is what Dr. Benjamin told us. So you can just take this, like after you shake, you can immediately take. Actually, you don't have to wait 10 minutes really. Mm. Okay, so this is the most updated information. Okay, so the two sachet of Barsa is be taken together or one at a time after short interval. Okay, if you're going to take a very high carbohydrate or very high uh, carbohydrate and high oil or very oily meal, you can take together actually. Yeah, so depending on yourself, do you have any like, do you find that you cannot take too much fiber at one time? But I think it's actually okay. You can just take two at a go. Yeah, just take two at a go. It's fine. You can increase the water a bit more because you cannot be taking two and 200 milliliters too thick. So you can put your 300 ml. You can just mix two together. Yeah, and it's actually okay. Okay, if my eating window is from 6:30 p.m. to 12:30 p.m. only. Okay, okay, all right. Only. How do I incorporate the uni mate basaf as during Ramadan time? Sorry, if I if I'm if my eating window is from 6 tea. Okay, oh, okay, okay, okay. Oh, okay. It's the same thing. Actually, if during your working hour, as long as the principle applies, okay, uni mate, just take when you wake up. Okay, if you're on Ramadan, you have to take your morning meal. You still need to take that 2 meals in a day, correct? So of course, in the very early morning, you just take your, just take your uni mate. Then, depending on that morning, if you're going to take a very heavy meal, but you can take your basaf as then. Then after that, after your eating, you just take another basaf as well. I don't see how this would influence the normal way of eating. Okay, the only difference is it's still the same. Uni mate, you always take during fasting. But then because you don't have a very long fasting hour, right? Alright. So no choice, you still have to take at that time. Then after that, you break your fast, you take the S, then at night you take another S again. Okay, so I think that would be good. Yeah, that would be alright. Yeah, I think should be fine. Okay, so what is the highest temperature good for unit mate? It should not be more than 60. Okay, it should not be more than 60 degrees. So I think once it is hot and it's warm enough to drink, I think that will be a good time to take. Not too hot now. Yeah. I will go for your Rizal is asking this in the context of Ramadan, right? If you're talking about Ramadan, I would say number two. Okay, there's no lunch during Ramadan. Hmm. Okay, if you're a person who can go without food for a long time, okay, if you can really go just drink water even in the morning, right? You can try number two lah. You can take uni mate and parasat and break together, but that means you have a very long hour fasting and no means empty stomach, totally empty. Oh. So if your body can really go that, then you can go with that. But I would say that most of the time you will take fasting, you take the uni mate during the fasting hour. Okay, for most of us who still need something in the morning. So I personally will still go for the uni mate in the morning, then I will take the as I take my fast. Okay, that's what I would do normally because I need that kind of mental alertness. Okay, but if you think you can last through that and you want to take the uni mate straight, no, no. Actually, I think you should take the uni mate during your fasting hours better. Now when I think about it, because the uni mate is supposed to increase, to further accelerate your fasting capacity. So I don't think you should mix together with that unless you are on fasting hours. Okay, so recap. All right, I think if you're on Ramadan season, you have no choice. You have to take S and uni mate together. All right, but if you are not on fasting month, you're on a normal day, then during fasting hour you should be taking uni mate. Okay, because the purpose about uni mate is to increase your fasting capacity. So if you take that together with your meal, right, then the whole benefit of uni mate is cut short already. That you cannot really see during your fasting hour. So I would say that you should still stick to uni mate during fasting if you can. All right. So is it okay for me to take Barista as before my first meal and uni mate after I'm done with my meal and start fasting? If this is context of Ramadan, right? It's okay also actually. Because to be frank, when it comes to Ramadan time, your you can also I understand the logic because you want to have that alertness to come later in the day. But I would still prefer to take it earlier first if the stomach is empty. Lah. So at least you have a few hours, then maybe that 1 hour to activate your body first, then you take the bus first. Okay, so that would be my recommendation. Okay, so wow, looks like we have a lot of questions today. All right. Okay, and I hope I'm able to answer your question. So if you still feel that maybe some of my questions, my answer is not very clear, or if you want to know even more, okay, please feel free to write me an email. Okay, on email I can send you documents and things like that. So we can definitely have more discussion on that. Okay, but as for now, I think yeah, we are kind of done today. So I really enjoyed the questions. Well, you're really testing me a lot of different scenarios, this and that. I enjoy it. It makes me think also. Okay, so thank you so much. And we'll be sending you more training information. as the time comes. So please stay tuned, okay, for that, hopefully fingers crossed that Dr. Benjamin Loomer's session is gonna be 100%, okay. And we are going to have another talk that follows through with the line of this fasting duty. All right, so thank you so much, and hope you all have a good fasting month. And I see you guys soon, very soon. Okay, bye.